the office and holding the power for too long. But I'm afraid that the term limits are going to fall short, because what will happen is the power will just refer to a group of people that surround them, and the candidate will just become a figurehead who ends up, as a placeholder, if you will, and then the team behind them will take over when they're out of office, and they'll endorse the next candidate and say, I'm finished.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have a very large stack of questions for you two, so I'm just trying to make sure everyone gets a fair shot. Can you please speak about your support or unsupport, dissupport, whatever the opposite of support is? The word I can't think of. Your support or opposition of the EPA's Waters of the U.S. ruling.
The EPA's Waters of the U.S. ruling. Can you give me a little more specifics on what that entails, please?
The question from the audience member is, do you support the EPA's Water of the U.S. ruling?
I'm going to have to do more research on that one. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to answer.
I agree. That's the first time I heard of that one. I'd like to meet that person after this is over, sit down and talk to them. That's interesting.
All right, thank you. Speak to us about your opinions on increasing taxes. The question is worded, would you ever vote to increase taxes?
I've learned to never say never.
There you go.
But I will say, this is too much for 30 seconds.
You get a full minute.
I think we're overtaxed in this country, and we need to find a way to streamline it, and we need to make sure that everybody pays their fair share, and that's not happening now. Depending on who you are, where you are, what you represent, determines a lot of times how much you pay and how often you pay. We need to fix that. To keep the rich from getting richer and the poor from getting poor. And so I respect taxes, but I think we need to look at the whole tax structure in this country, from federal government all the way down to local government, to make sure that people's dollars are being spent wisely and representing everybody. Taxes was meant to support us and not to hurt us. And so I think we need to look at the total tax structure.
Thank you. Do you want the 30-second warning, or do you not want the 30? I feel like it makes you nervous.
No, I'll take whatever you do. I'm okay.
It's up to you guys. I feel like it makes you nervous.
I'm easy.
So I would never want to raise taxes, and hard-pressed to think of a scenario under which I would. I would say also I think we need reform of taxation at all levels, particularly at the federal level. I would like you to look at the fair tax proposal. It's something I couldn't even begin to get into in the minute that I have to answer this question. But I think we should use that as a blueprint on how we could reform taxation in America. It would do a lot of great things, like making sure you never have to file a tax return again, which would be very, very nice. And so you would just pay your taxes and sales-based taxes, although there was something that was brought up in the state level that I hadn't thought of myself. So we'd have to try to make sure that we could eliminate the things that are necessities and try to make it fair. Again, it's a blueprint. I think it's a great start. We can hammer out little details like that from there, and I would encourage you to please take a look at that.
Thank you. You came in at 5 seconds. Good job. Do you support the Iran deal? A follow-up, what proposals do you have to stop the Middle East from gaining a nuclear weapon? I'll give you a minute 30 for this one.
I don't think that we can really be in the business of preventing other countries from doing what they will. I think we can come to them diplomatically, and we can have a conversation and try to approach things from that level. But I think all too often our foreign policy is about trying to impose our will on foreign nations instead of just trying to trade and get along with them. We're fighting endless wars across the globe now, and we're about to start another one. And I think that we really have too much of this, and we've got to rein this in. And so we've got to give diplomacy and peace a chance, and I would like to end most of those conflicts. I think that we can find a way to solve these solutions, but we can't continue to be the police of the world. We have to find a way to let other countries decide their own fate.
Difficult question. In this world, we been fighting wars for years and years and years. I don't see this going away. I agree. For me, no war is a good war. We need to find a way to resolve conflicts at all costs, because every one of them leaves devastation for years and years and years. At the same time, we have to realize that we are known as the face of the world, and people look to us as to what we do and how we do it. I think that we need to be the leader in trying to resolve some of these issues, and unfortunately, there's times that you're drawn into situations that you don't want to be in, but it's for the betterment of not only those people, but our country also. My concern is that we make sure that we protect the United States at all costs. More bombs is not going to help anyone. All it causes is more devastation. And any way that we can get out of war, we need to make sure that we try to make sure we do that.
All right. And I'm going to give you a minute 30 for this one as well. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing Indiana at this time?
I think there's several challenges. I think for me, education is huge. I think that we need to make sure that we spend a lot of time developing our education. I am extremely supportive to public education, teachers. We need to make sure that we strengthen and enhance that. Jobs are extremely important for me. Making sure that we create a workforce, a qualified, trained workforce that can work at jobs, and companies that can create businesses in this state to put people to work. We have to make sure that people have an opportunity to go to work and do jobs. So education and economy is extremely huge. And thirdly, as a retired police officer, obviously criminal justice reform is extremely important. We're sending more people to prison right now every year for nonviolent offenses than we do kids to college sometimes. Even to the point where we're allowing private businesses to open up penal institutions and locking up kids. It shouldn't happen. And so those three things are extremely, extremely important to me. A long list of other things, but for starters, I would start there. Thank you.
So one of us will be elected